So if you're a cyclist like myself who is over 40 and struggling to manage their fitness levels during the winter period, I'm going to share with you today exactly what I do throughout the winter period to allow me to keep my fitness in the best possible shape I can and make sure that I'm riding strong come the spring, summer months, and all that hard work pays off during the winter. So my name is Neil. Welcome back to the channel. I'm a cycling coach and health consultant. In today's video, it's more off the cuff than a more edited video. So I'm just going to talk to you as I would be talking to you like we're having coffee together. And I just want to share how I'm going about looking after myself during the winter months and how I'm going to get stronger and fitter leading up to Ride London this year in May and potentially a coast to coast later on in the year in June. So during the winter, it is quite challenging to get out on the bike. And if you're anything like me, I tend to go out on the bike less and less in the winter as I've got older. One, I'm a little bit more of a fair weather cyclist these days. I tend to enjoy being out when it's warm rather than going out and my hands being like ice and can't feel my feet by the time I get home. And also in the past, when I have been out, it's been quite icy and wet and can be quite treacherous. And I want to minimize the risk of any falls and accidents as much as possible. Now I'm getting a bit older as well. So my training is all based around indoor training throughout the winter. And when I was training for the Ironman in 2019, I literally did all my training from January up until early part of April, all indoors. And this was 3 or 4 hours a week in the gym. Mondays would be like a recovery ride. Wednesday would be more of a threshold session for an hour. And then on a Saturday, I would do about 2 hours on the turbo, mixture of threshold and efforts. So I was still getting in a good amount of training throughout the week on the bike. It was all about the quality of the session that I was doing as opposed to me trying to do loads of hours on the bike and them not being of the best quality. Obviously around that, when I was training for the Ironman, I was doing a lot of running as well. So had a lot of cardiovascular benefits and improvements in my overall fitness from the running side of things alongside the cycling. So it wasn't all just cycling. But during that time, I found that the quality of sessions really helped me feel really strong when I got back out on the bike when it came to April and May, and had about 6 weeks of riding out on the road before I went and did Ironman Mallorca, and I probably did the best race of my life in 2019. So I was very pleased with that. So my strategy is riding 3 or 4 hours in a week. This is going to be probably at least 3 hours of zone 2 sessions in the gym for an hour, and then 1 hard threshold session per week. And then other weekends, if I'm not going out on the bike, then it'd just be an hour on the turbo. Again, mainly around zone 2, or if I'm feeling a bit more adventurous, I might do more of a harder effort. But generally it's going to be a zone 2 effort, maybe for an hour, hour and a half, or maybe a swift race if I do have a bit more time and I want to push the intensity a bit harder as well. So I wouldn't be too worried about getting out on the bike during the winter months. I think it's more important to really work on your base fitness, improve the consistency of your training. So when you do get back on the bike, you've already got a base to work from. You're going to feel a lot fitter and stronger. And it's going to allow you to enjoy riding a lot more instead of just waiting until the weather gets better and then getting out on your bike. I used to do this when I first started riding. I would ride all winter and then start riding in April and May. I normally do a triathlon in June, but I was way below par because I hadn't done much training on the bike during the winter. So try and get inside on the indoor trainer. I use a watt bike in the gym and have an indoor trainer at home, which I use from time to time. And both of them together just works really well to help keep me consistent and get some good quality sessions in during the winter. Secondly, what I do prioritize a lot more now I'm 41, is weight training. I wasn't a big fan of weight training. I've always been a big fan of endurance training, getting out on the bike or going for a run as opposed to being in the gym. But I wanted to learn how I could learn to enjoy weight training more. So I decided to shift my focus and focus on how weight training would benefit my running and my cycling and minimize injury. And after being consistent with weight training for at least a year, doing it at least once or twice a week, I really started to notice the benefits when I was getting out on the bike. So after doing some weight training throughout the winter, I was out on the bike, having not done as much riding as I had done in previous years, and I could push a bigger gear. I felt really strong. I didn't really feel my muscles were fatiguing as quickly as they might have done if I hadn't done the weight training, and just felt a lot more comfortable on the bike, especially holding myself up on the bars. No back pain, no shoulder pain, just feeling really sort of comfortable on the bike, as well as the performance I could get out of my legs on the bike as well. So by seeing the benefits of being stronger on the bike from the weight training, that really allowed me to have more of a love affair with weight training. And I'm not going to go in the gym and try and encourage you or encourage myself to be like a bodybuilder and train a lot in the gym, but what I do focus on is quality of session. So I do at least twice a week now in the gym, and that is about a 45-minute workout, just focusing on my legs upwards. So I work on some good squat exercises, some walking lunges, maybe some pushes, sled pushes. They're really good if you want to protect your knees a bit more as you get older, because you're not going to have as much stress going through the joints if you're doing some squats, for example, but you can really get a lot of benefits from sled pushing, which are fantastic. Really good cardiovascular workout as well. And then I'll focus on a lot of core stability alongside a bit of upper body work, but I'd focus on the compound movements like chest presses and lat pull downs, and that way I'm working my biceps and triceps. I don't really need to worry about doing isolated exercises like biceps, triceps. Really, they're just show muscles, and you're working those muscles if you're doing good compound movement exercises. So really focus on those if you are going to the gym. If you haven't been to the gym before and you want to start off with some bodyweight exercises, then in the comments below, I'll link a free guide where I've got a free beginners bodyweight exercise session for cyclists that you can do in the comfort of your own home. And this is a really good introduction to start getting familiar with weight training on a consistent basis around your cycling without it being too demanding. And then as you get fitter and more confident, you can start going to more weight-based training exercises in the gym, and that will hopefully improve your cycling performance going forward as well. But for me, twice a week in the gym, real stable, Tuesdays and Thursdays. That gives me a good rest in between before a weekend ride, and also around my sessions that I do in the gym on the bike as well. Alongside that, I really prioritize rest and recovery, always making sure I'm getting at least 8 to 9 hours of sleep every night. I'm an early bird, so I go to bed roughly around 8, lights out at 8:30, and I get up around 4:30, get in the gym for 5. I'd rather get most of my workouts done early in the morning rather than late in the evening. And before going to bed, I switch off from any technology around 6, 7 o'clock, turn everything off, put it all away and forget about it till the next day. And then me and my partner will sit down and do a light bit of reading, but also we'll prioritize a bit of rest and recovery with some stretching and mobility. This has been really helpful and really helped me overcome some injuries that I had in the past. Had some issues with some hip issues in the past, where after riding, my hips would be just really painful. And after going to the physio, a bit of treatment, I just needed to make sure I did more mobility work around my hip flexors. And by focusing on that, I actually eradicated all my hip pain completely. And also in the past, I've had some issues with my knees, and this is generally down to my IT band, which is obviously down the right side of your leg, or left side of the leg, outer side of your leg, being quite tight. And this tends to get overused, especially from a lot of running and cycling and weight training. So making sure you're doing some foam rolling on your IT band and some good quad stretches. These are really good in terms of minimizing that risk of injury and issues around your IT band and any knee issues as well. So by doing the stretches every night, that only takes me about 10 to 20 minutes, sometimes a bit longer if I want to do a bit more rolling, but I have a regular routine that I do every night. It's 10 minutes, all it takes. And what you'll find by being consistent with these, I've personally found anyway, that the compound effect of me being consistent with stretching on a daily basis has far exceeded me just going to a yoga class once a week, for example. So I think if you are trying to incorporate more mobility and stretching into your routine, then just try and add in 10 minutes a day before bed. Helps you to unwind before bed as well, putting some yoga music on, for example. And then that will allow you to minimize risk of injury and just aid recovery from all the time that you're doing on the bike and in the gym as well. I don't really feel there's a need to do some recovery stretches after a bike ride or after the gym session if you're doing a regular routine of 10 minutes of mobility on a daily basis. I think that's better than trying to just add on more recovery after your sessions, because especially after a long bike ride or a hard gym session, for me, I'm just hungry, so I just want to eat. So I focus on my nutrition more than my stretching, and then do my stretching in the evenings. On top of that, talking about nutrition, it's really paramount that you focus on good quality nutrition. I think it's more important to focus on the quality of what you eat rather than the quantity. So you always want to be in a calorie deficit if you're looking to lose weight, but if you're looking just to manage your health better, then really just focus on the quality of the nutrition that you're putting into your body. And this really will make a massive impact in terms of whether you're hungry all the time, what cravings you have, and just help you feel better overall, minimize your risk of cardiovascular disease by lowering your blood pressure, your risk of high cholesterol. All these factors will play a big role in terms of what you eat, and alongside helping supporting you just ride better and stronger and recover after your bike ride. So me on a daily basis, I have a big bowl of porridge. That's my main meal of the day. Might have a mid-morning snack of a bit of fruit, sometimes a bit of chocolate to treat myself. And then I'll have a big bowl of soup in the winter, some bread. Always tend to go for sourdough bread, just because bread should be yeast, flour and water. Anything you buy in the shops, that's flour, that's store-bought, has a lot of ingredients in it, a lot of salt. You shouldn't be really exposing yourself to those extra additives in your diet. While they're convenient, it's probably not going to be the best for your body. So I would advise, if you're investing in bread, maybe just treat yourself once a week to a good sourdough loaf, rather than having to buy a load of cheap bread, 2 or 3 days a week, and having, a lot of bread, but really poor quality bread. So it's better to invest in high quality foods and have them less often, rather than lots of low quality foods and having more of them in your diet. So base your meals around plant-based meals as well. That's what I tend to do. Lots of fruits and vegetables. I still have meat and dairy, but mainly my main sources of protein, I would say, throughout the day would be some eggs. My porridge has lots of protein in it because it has lots of nuts and seeds and some almond butter, alongside oats, has some good sources of protein in there as well. So a mixture of everything throughout my day allows me to get adequate sources of protein in my diet. And then in the evenings, my meals tend to be quite light. I tend to have most of my calories throughout the day, and then I might have more of a snack in the afternoon. That could be some hummus with some rice cakes, something like that, or even just a lighter portion of my lunch. So I might have the same thing, but just a little bit smaller, and make sure I'm not eating at least 2 hours before bed as well. So if I'm going to bed at 8:30, I tend to have my meals at 5 o'clock. So it allows me to digest my food really easily and not feel full or have any indigestion when I come to bed as well. And that overall just allows me to feel well and make sure I'm providing my body with adequate nutrients as well. I would say over the last year as well, one of the biggest changes in my diet and has been incorporating more fermented foods. So this is going to be like kimchi and kombucha. Having these on a daily basis has really helped to improve my gut biome. I haven't had it tested, so I can't say 100% for sure, but personally speaking, I crave less sweet foods as much as what I did maybe a year or two ago. This year, I have big Christmas cake covered in chocolate instead of icing. That's my regular treat. And in the past, I would normally have 2 cakes or 3 cakes for Christmas. And that seems a lot, but yeah, I do love fruit cake, but I save it all up for Christmas. And instead of having 3 this year, I had 2 last year and I had 1 this year. And I think actually going forward next year, I might not even have any fruitcake, because I didn't really enjoy it as much as I have done in the past, because my palate's changed, not really getting as much satisfaction from a lot of chocolate. I enjoy maybe a square or 2 a day, really good, rich, dark chocolate. But apart from that, I'm not wanting to sit and really indulge in a lot of high calorie, sweet, salty and rich foods. So having more kombucha and kimchi in my diet has really made a massive difference when it comes to just managing my food cravings and wanting more quality food in my diet. And even when it comes to ice cream, which I'm a really big fan of, when I've had more synthetic ice cream, like your gelatos. You can really taste the difference in comparison to a really good quality dairy ice cream. We regularly visit a really nice quality dairy ice cream maker here in London. So if you're looking for a really good ice cream, if you visit in London, let me know in the comments below, comment ice cream, and I'll send you the link of where to visit this amazing ice cream shop that I'd recommend to anyone. It's the best ice cream I've ever had. Really good, rich, quality dairy ice cream, no additives, no fillers, just pure, really homemade ice cream. So I've really noticed a difference when having that in comparison to maybe more poor quality store-bought or synthetic ice cream. So I think having good, nutritious, healthy food in your diet will make a massive difference to overall well-being, obviously, but also will improve your cycling performance and just keep you healthier during the winter. For me, I have ginger shots every morning as well, and make sure I supplement with vitamin D on a regular basis. So all these things are going to help minimize risk of infection and support my immune system during the winter months as well. So that's what I'm generally doing to keep healthy and fit during the winter months. And then when spring and summer comes round, if it's a nice sunny day and a bit warmer, probably 10 degrees or more, then I'll start getting out on the bike with the guys. But by spending more time in the gym, focusing on good quality sessions on the turbo trainer and weight training alongside some recovery, that gives me the confidence to step out on the bike and get a 70-mile bike ride in by fueling well on the bike and feeling really strong and fit and healthy. I might lack a little bit of time on the bike in terms of being on the bike as opposed to a turbo trainer, but that will come back after 2 or 3 rides. But generally, by having a good winter phase of January, February, March, especially here in the UK where the weather's not that good, just really gives me the confidence to get out on the bike in the summer months and really smash my goals and continue my fitness and improve my trajectory of fitness going forward in the spring and summer months when I'm going to be spending more time out on the bike when the weather, fingers crossed, is a lot better. So yeah, they're my tips that I wanted to share with you today in this week's video. If you've got any questions for me about anything that I've discussed in today's video, then let me know in the comments below and let me know your thoughts on this style of video. So I'm not going to edit this. I'm not going to put any B-roll for you. I just wanted to talk to camera just to give you my insights on what I'm doing for training. And like I said, if you want the free beginners weight training guide, let me know in the comments below and I can send that over to you as well. And let me know what other topics you'd like me to cover when it comes to supporting your ability as a cyclist. Then I'd love to hear your thoughts as a loyal subscriber because I really appreciate you tuning in every week and subscribing. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below and we can hopefully get some videos done for you going forward this year. But thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time.